What's going on, guys? It's Will with Military Lawn Cuts, where my wife and I have built 2 lawn care companies and we are actively building our businesses in the weeds with you guys. But today, hello.
Horses.
Wow, those are cool horses. Look how big they are. Very cool. So it's really important to make sure that you have a very efficient setup, so that way when you're out on these lawns and doing your route, you can utilize the best tactics to make the most amount of money in your 8-hour day or 10-hour day if have you. But if you come and walk with me, so this is one of our newest setups here, which I'm actually going to go through last. Come with me. I'm going to take you over to, I would call this maybe your more beginner setup. So if you just have, maybe you don't even have a truck, right? This is a good scenario for a cargo hitch where it goes directly into the hitch receiver on a truck. You can even do this on just a SUV or something like that. But this is very, very nice. If you look here, the ramp just drops just like this. All right, so this cargo hitch was about $800. I'll put the website in the link below if you guys want something like this, but this is very sturdy. You can actually get up and jump in and out. All right, it's very durable, especially if you have employees or whether or not it's just yourself. But these bolts, basically just pull them back and then you can drop it. Now for this, we pull the mower backwards up and then we created a nice little hitch right here to hold the mower wheel, where the wheel actually locks in, so that way you don't have to strap it in each time. Why? Because time is money. And if I can shave 15 or 20 seconds off of each property by not having to strap it in each time, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so this is ramp number 2. So I believe we spent probably about $2,800 on this setup, but the ramp itself actually comes out, I believe, about 1.5 feet. It's a dovetail ramp. And what's nice about this is when you run the mowers up and down, it doesn't bottom out on the actual bend area where the frame meets the actual bed, lining bed of the truck here. So this is super nice for like 0 turns, because as you can see, this thing is very, very sturdy. Now it's very, very heavy, all right? But, oh, I gotta unlock it here. So what we have done is, as you can see, this spring right here actually holds a lot of that weight, and it makes it very, very simple. As you can look right here, like I'm literally lifting this with my foot. So it's so easy and light. We actually got this spring-loaded assist from trailerax.com. They actually have a whole setup, but we just get ours custom made and then use the spring, and we had them welded on the same diameter to make sure that it's easy for the crews. Because if there's one thing that I know when you're out there and you're going in and out of every single job, you don't want to be out of stamina by the end of the day by having to lift up this heavy, heavy ramp every single visit. All right, so after doing this for about 4 or 5 vehicles, we finally figured out what the best trailerless rack setup is for 21-inch or 30-inch push mowers here. So what we have here is a dovetail ramp. And as you can see on the side here, we had our welder actually create foot holsters. So when this thing is filled with literally debris and brush, the guys can, get in and out of the vehicle very, very easily, just like this, all right? So this is an add-on, which I highly recommend. The other add-on is, as you can see here, it's cut in half. And so what you'll see is you can literally drop this ramp very, very easily. It's lighter. You don't need a spring to it. And you can literally ride your mower up. And again, it's got that kind of curve here to where it's not bottoming out on that bed of the pickup truck. So if you come over here, now we can get into kind of like the setup here. So on every single truck, we have a mower boot. And this again allows us to literally roll the mower up, drop one wheel in this boot that's bolted down to the bed of the truck, and the mower doesn't move. And so we don't have to strap it down each and every time. Again, saving us seconds which add up to minutes, which add up to dollars on every single property. All right, so if you come over here, what we like to do is put our trimmer rack right here, and we bolt this right into the trimmer rack that we have. So what's nice about this setup is you can lock this mechanism at the end of the day. Each of them have a lock. So we like to put our weed eater and edger here. And this rack system is very, very sturdy. If you look at this thing is not going anywhere. And it literally sits down inside of these pockets, and it's very, very sturdy. All right, so we like to put our blower here on the right side because generally most of the time when we're pulling up to the properties, the driver is actually on the street, like in the street side, and the passenger is typically on the side that the property is on. So for efficiency purposes, this is why we have our mower on the right side in the bed. We have our weed eater, edger, and blower all on the right side because generally 85% of the time, our trucks are parked on the right side of the street, saving us time and money when we come out, grab our equipment, and get rocking and rolling. So every truck has logos. Highly, highly recommend this, especially if you're, just getting your business started. It's literally a one-time fee, and it's like an infinite return for 5 years. We label each truck. So this is C1 for Salina. And if you come over here, we also have our hand tool rack here. So they put their garden halo hoe here. This is for to create an edging border. You got your metal rake, plastic rakes for leaves. And then inside here, we have our color labeled jugs for really just any type of weed control services that we're doing here. And we color code our weed control bottles. Now on the inside, that's pretty much the outside. And that's how we have found to be the most efficient. On the inside, every single truck will have a tool bag. And so inside the tool bag, you will have extra bags, extra caps, and a first aid kit. And I did a whole video on this if you guys want to go look back what we actually put inside. Extra bumpers for the weed eaters, trimmer line, sprinkler head. Sometimes they'll hit those out on the property. And so every truck is stocked with all of the equipment they need. Because if we can save ourselves time when we're out on the property, if we hit a sprinkler head or we hit an irrigation cap and just fix it while we're there, we don't have to drive all the way back to the shop, wasting time and money. So now this truck will be used for really 3 different purposes. It'll be used for mowing, which is why we have the dovetail and all that stuff. Will also be used for weed control and fertilization. So for that service, we have these little yard signs. And this is really nice whether you're doing weed control or not, but you could just put a stake in here and it literally lists all the services we offer. It's a good branding play. Even if you're just doing mowing services, I would highly recommend getting these little yard signs and just putting them in all of your customers' property. So that way customers can see how good the lawn looks. Now, what we also do is if our estimator is doing estimates, they have literally a door hanger that they can be walking up to the property, do their 5 around, which basically means if you're doing an estimate at that one property, let's hit their neighbors with door hangers. They already see the truck out there, put up these door hangers, and then it has a little bit about us. We like to put a picture on who we are, what we do, and it just shows people who they're gonna be doing business with. All right, so now I'm gonna take you into the shop area. Okay, so as far as our systems go, it's really important to make sure you're dialed in. We're gonna do a quick shop tour in here to show you guys kind of the key points. So behind me, I have a whiteboard of all of the key indicators that all of our team needs to know. So if you look up here, we have our field manager operating procedure. So this is, hey, what do we do for locked gate, open pet, damaged case, overgrown lawn? These are the big 5 things of what customers ask for and what to do. We have our tool checklist based on what service we're doing, making sure that everybody's checking the tool checklist so they don't forget anything. Rainy day checklist is what we go through when it rains. We have our tool bag checklist. And then below here, we have literally our rotation on every single property. So the mowing rotation, the fastest way, the weed eating, We have a chronological, methodical way that we have thought out on every single property on the rotation. Same thing for edger, same thing for blower, because guys, time is money, and it's very important that we are all doing it the same way and not having different crews cutting it different ways, because that would be an inaccurate consistency for the customer. We want to keep everything consistent so that no matter what crew is there, they're all doing it methodically the same way and the same approach. So behind me here, we have little tables that we built in the off season for our mowers. This just helps save for space. We literally put our mowers underneath, and then we put our blowers, hedge trimmers, and anything else on top. Okay, so right here we have a power washer, and then we have a weed eater and edger, just backup stuff here. So this stuff's a little disorganized, so I do apologize about that, but this is just all of our basic stuff. Obviously Larissa behind the camera, which you don't see. Thank you, Larissa. You definitely have made this very, very easy. So I want you to come in here and I want you to look at this. So she labeled blowers, trimmers, weed eaters, like everything's labeled here, and when you open it up, it literally like has extra air filters, spark plugs, the little primer buttons that go out. Everything is very organized here. If you need, you know, extra irrigation caps that the guys mow over all the time, like everything's right here. You can grab what you need. We've got extra trimmer line for the year, and we try to stock up on basically everything that we're gonna need. We have our sharpened mower blades here and our need to be sharpened. So one pile is the sharp ones, the other pile is non-sharpened, and this is basically our setup. We have a nice wooden shelf. It's very sturdy, and we just have everything that we need to go through our season, because what we want to do, and this is very, very important, this is what I've learned in the beginning days when you're first starting. Obviously you're not going to be able to bulk order all this stuff, right? But eventually, as you start to scale, it costs money every time you have to run 30 minutes or 20 minutes to go get trimmer line because you don't have it in stock. Make sure you guys bulk order once you guys get rolling, because it saves you time and money. Like irrigation and sprinkler heads, just we order literally a box of 50 of them. So that way we have them on site, we can restock all the time. We don't have to constantly be going back and forth to Home Depot to pick up the supplies we know we're going to use each year. So we have extra hand tools, you know, landscaping stuff. Also some wheelbarrows, you know, if people need, you know, big mulch jobs, they can do that. We also have an extra spreader. And over here, we have extra backpack sprayers. Again, we color coordinate what we're spraying to the color. And then we have a shelf back here that we, you know, hold all of our extra jugs. Here we have our, I wanted to kind of go through this with you guys, an electric sprayer. Anybody doing weed control, highly, highly recommend using an electric sprayer. For the first year or two, I did not use an electric sprayer. And once we started using an electric sprayer, I'm telling you, you can pump out so many more lawns and be way more efficient and make way more money. All right, so this is something we also implemented this year, now that we have a shop area, is really bulk ordering our mulch. So we ordered, I believe, 8 pallets. And what this is gonna do is allow us to not have to run and pick up material each time that we have a mulch job. And we're still gonna charge a customer a delivery fee because, you know, it does cost money to bulk deliver, but in the long run, once we go through all of this, again, it'll save us more money by bulk ordering and not having the crews of that labor time driving back and forth, allowing us to book more jobs as well. Okay, so Larissa asked a really good question, is do you charge the customer the same amount of delivery it takes for storing it here that you would if you didn't have it? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. And here's why. If you're able to bring down that cost, it will allow you to book more jobs. And so when you're bulk ordering that product, you're able to get it at a lower cost. So although we're still charging the customer a delivery fee, and what we do is a $60 delivery, where we used to charge 75 or 90, we're able to bring that cost down while giving the customer a cheaper price while still delivering a good quality of service and still making good profit on that. Good question. All right, so over here we have our burn pile. So as you can see, there's a little bit of some burning going on, but again, this is nice. Anybody that's considering getting a shop, you definitely want to look at getting a shop out in the county, because what's nice about this place is we can literally burn our brush, you know, on a burn day and not have to run back and forth to the dump every time the burn pile or brush pile gets big. All right, so when in Texas, you got to do things big. So what we did is we got a 7-foot sign with our logo on it right here for everybody to see. When they drive by, they can see that this is Military Lawn Cuts. All right, we need everybody to know all over the place here that this is the HQ for Military Lawn Cuts. Now behind me is where we store our fertilizer, and it's not the best solution right now. So what I need from you guys that are watching is I need you guys below to put a comment on what you guys think we should do here. So we got a, what was it called? Like a shed that you can put up, a tarp tent. And as you can see over there, we put concrete in buckets and did all that fun stuff, and it didn't last. So we need a solution from you guys. We need a solution from you guys, what you guys would recommend. We thought about a shipping container, thought about building a shop, but obviously it costs money. And so we want to try to find a good solution that we can keep the fertilizer dry in the summer. So I'm curious what you guys do. Let me know. All right, so wrapping this up here, this is obviously we poured gravel for our team to park, and we went out and got little parking spaces that are plastic. And if you want to come over here, I highly recommend going with like concrete or the like rubber, because what happens with these plastic things is they crack and they break when people drive on them. And ideally they're not really bolted down properly like they should, but I highly recommend getting rubber or concrete if you're doing parking blocks. And this is more of a luxury item because this doesn't make us money. But when you get to the part where you do have a shop, you do have parking spaces, don't get the cheap ones. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up the shop tour and equipment setup for us at Military Lawn Cuts. We've been doing, we do about 650,000 annually a year. We just started a second location. That's the most efficient truck setup and shop setup that we have found. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.